6 years ago, a YouTube channel posted a video called Country Size Comparison. The premise? A cartoon, googly-eyed version of every country on Earth, lined up smallest to largest and sung in one continuous rhyming list. 8 minutes later, it arrives at Russia. And roughly 180 other nations, all rhymed, all to a tune. It is the geographical phone book set to music. And it taught a generation of children more world geography than they ever got out of an atlas. It has 18 million views, and that wasn't even a big one for them. The planet song, 8 planets, a face on each, a melody engineered to lodge in a child's skull and refuse to leave, sits at 222 million. The vegetable song, 121. The dwarf planets, 91 million. Other channels frame numbers like that and hang them on the wall. This week, the same channel, same wobbly faces, same googly eyes, assembled from the same exact parts, posted a song about an exoplanet made of iron. 18,000 views. That's 1,000 times less than the country song. 1,000 times less. Same channel, same style, 2.5 million subscribers theoretically waiting, and only 18,000 of them actually turned up. That number may have crept up by the time you watch this, but it doesn't really matter. It could treble and still be nowhere near a million, let alone the 18 million of the country song, let alone the 200 million of the planet one. A channel that used to deal in hundreds of millions now deals with just thousands. And no amount of slow drip closes a gap that size. This is Kids Learning Tube, a channel that taught a whole generation the order of the planets and the flags of every country on Earth.
The Netherlands are grand. This is Belgium. I'm Greece, you understand?
And then mislaid almost every single person who was listening. It's especially tragic because the community used to be thriving. Comments and requests piling up under every single video. Go to the channel today, however, and that whole community has gone silent. The comments are turned off across the board, though, in fairness, that's actually normal for a kid's channel. The darker part is the community tab. The one room they could have kept open is also locked shut. Indeed, sitting in said community tab is just a single post from 7 years ago. The rot of KLT runs through the whole family as well. Kids Learning Tube grew a litter of spin-off channels. Anatomy, Geography, Wild, one even in Spanish. And yet, every one of them is in the same state, sitting on 1 million odd subscribers apiece, and yet they're performing to an empty room. So, how did a former giant of educational YouTube fall this far? Was it the founder, Matt Lawrence, who let it happen, or was he a victim of darker forces at play? Let's find the frick out. Before we do though, most of you guys watching this right now aren't subscribed. So please, click the button. It's free, it's easy, and it really helps out the channel. Thank you. Kids Learning Tube exists because of one frustrated dad and one specific problem. Around 2014, Matt Lawrence was trying to teach his son using educational videos on YouTube, and he couldn't find anything decent. Everything was either rubbish, cluttered with distractions, or both. So, in the grand tradition of every parent who has ever muttered, "Fine, I'll do it myself," he did it himself. In January 2025, he posted the first Kids Learning Tube video, a song teaching the numbers 1 to 10. But within weeks, Matt got bored of the basic and made the decision that defined everything. He wanted to throw proper science at kids. Anatomy, astronomy, the lots, and see what stuck. So, in March 2015, he posted the Solar System song, and that was the moment KLT became KLT.
There are 8 planets in the solar system. We revolve around the sun.
And the formula? It was disarmingly simple. Take a thing a child has to learn and finds boring. The order of the planets, the flags of the world, the bones in the body. And bury it inside a song so catchy, it lodges in the skull and refuses to leave. The visuals were wobbly little characters with googly eyes. The planets had faces, the vegetables had faces. Eventually, it felt like everything on screen had been issued a pair of eyes, whether it wanted them or not. It was the educational equivalent of hiding a vitamin in a spoonful of jam. And it worked in the way that good teaching works. Quietly, years later, when you're not even looking. One person on RGen Alpha put it better than any marketing department ever could. This channel brought me into something I'm gifted at. I was able to name, locate, and define the flags of all nations in 5th grade. I can still do it today, even though I haven't practiced in 2 years. A song made for one man's son turned a 10-year-old stranger into someone who can still rattle off every flag on Earth a decade later. That's the soul of KLT, the part everyone in this story is about to misplace. By April 2021, the channel had passed 1 million subscribers, and back in 2019, LifeWire had named it the best educational YouTube channel going. There was an app, and a merch line, and all the trimmings of a proper success. For a one-man band run out of a living room, this was the dream. Which is, of course, the bit right before it all goes wrong. The trouble arrived the way that trouble normally does, as a regulatory filing. And if you'd been paying attention back then, you'd have actually seen it coming. Because Matt, he put the warning sign inside the videos themselves. Tacked onto the end of that country song, right after Russia, there's a little plea.
Hey kids and parents, listen up. In just 2 months, Kids Learning Tube may not be able to send new video updates because of changes YouTube is making.
Subscribe to the newsletter, kids. Tell your parents, because in about 2 months, YouTube is making changes and KLT might not be able to reach you anymore. A children's geography song with an evacuation notice stapled to the back of it. Smash that like button if you wish that Matt Lawrence had never left KLT. Man, the channel used to be such a vibe. In September 2019, YouTube was hit with a $170 million FTS fine, and the fallout landed on every children's channel on the platform in January 2020 under a set of rules called COPPA. So if your content was made for kids, YouTube switched it off. And I'm going to read this list in full because the length of it is a joke. Comments, personalized ads, notifications, the notification bell, end screens, info cards, the mini player, community post, super chat, save to playlist, and watch later. Every single tool a creator actually uses to reach an audience, unplugged in the name of protecting that audience. Matt Lawrence's own verdict was blunt. COPPA crushed my revenue quite substantially. Ad income per view went from dollars to pennies. Skint and watching his main income evaporate through no fault of his own, Lawrence sold the channel in late 2021 to a company called Electric Monster Media. And here we come across the first death, and yes, the fans clocked it at once. The new owners rebranded the channel from Kids Learning Tube to the snappier, more corporate, more meaningless KLT. They overhauled the beloved animation style, and the familiar wobbly faces gave way to something the community has never forgiven. The backlash was immediate. Much of what you're about to hear depends on the work of a fan channel called KLTRR, who I've been emailing with while making this. Their channel link is in the description. Go and back them. A Change.org petition titled Restore the Original Kids Learning Tube Animation, arguing, with teachers cited, that the new animations lack clarity and fail to engage young learners effectively. A fan channel that sprang up to keep the flame alive was less diplomatic, calling the new corporate style flatly awful. When your own fans start petitions and breakaway channels, you're way past the point of constructive feedback. That's like a congregation splitting from the church. Then comes the blow that turns channel gets worse into channel ends. According to Matt himself, relayed through at KLTRR, he was laid off alongside around 20 other people on the KLT team. The bloke who wrote the songs and sang them and basically was the channel, gone from the thing that carried his living room recordings past 1 billion views. Then the channel simply stopped, sitting there with the curtains drawn for a good 8 months. KLTRR broke the news the only way the internet knows how. A Sabrina Carpenter parody titled Save KLT. And when someone asked Lawrence directly on TikTok whether he'd be back, he gave what is, for my money, the saddest 9 words in this whole saga. It's not up for me to decide. I'd get in touch with Electric Monster Media. There's a particular flatness to that. Matt sounds like a man who already had the argument, lost, and is now just reciting the official channels. In early 2025, the silent channel changed hands again. Electric Monster merged with Brat TV and rebranded as ZATV, a Burbank operation whose portfolio includes Brat, Crypt TV, and a roster of proper teams aimed at almost everyone except small children learning the periodic table. To a company like that, Kids Learning Tube is a line item, a back catalogue that prints money whilst nobody's particularly minding it. And then, in March 2025, after 8 months of nothing, KLT uploaded again. A geography video, the art style even creeping back towards the old look. You'd be right to feel cautious optimism. Maybe the worst was indeed over. Then July 2025 happened, and this is where Kids Learning Tube truly became KLT, a hollow set of 3 letters where a channel used to be. KLT posted a video, and according to KLTRR, the fan channel I mentioned, the voice singing it was an AI clone of Matt Lawrence. And they sent me the clip, so I can play a little bit for you now so you can hear for yourselves.
My 5 senses do so much. They help me learn the world each day in every single kind of way.
I'll be honest, I can't 100% confirm that it is AI. It's genuinely hard to tell, and I mean, I guess that's the point of a good voice clone. So I'm not going to declare it as fact. But the people closest to this channel, who've tracked it for years, are convinced it's synthetic. Remember, Matt Lawrence had been fired a year earlier and had no hand in writing, singing, or approving any of it. Just for a second, think about what that actually means. They had a real human creator, they let him go, and then, bizarrely, they kept his voice. All the warmth and recognition of a beloved human, with none of the inconvenience of employing one, paying one, or letting one have an opinion. But this is where the fans did something that the people running the channel clearly didn't expect. They noticed, almost immediately. A petition went up. Stop generative AI in Kids Learning Tube, and they made enough noise that, according to KLTRR's timeline, the AI experiment lasted exactly 1 video. By August 2025, it seemed that KLT was back to normal. So no, KLT is not a permanent AI zombie singing forever in a dead man's voice. If you've seen that claim going round, this is your correction. The owners reached for the cheap option, the fans said absolutely not, and it went back in the draw. The fans won that round. The thing is, winning a round means very little when there's nowhere left to stand and fight. Because here's the thing about the KLT community, it's pretty much gone. The comments under every video are switched off. That part is just copper. The child protection rules that disable comments on any made-for-kids content, so that one at least is not a choice. But everything beyond that was a choice, and the new owners chose nothing. Remember that single community post I mentioned at the start? The 7-year-old one about verbs? Well, here's the really weird thing about it. This isn't just the only recent community engagement, it's the only community engagements KLT has ever done. Now, I don't know if there were community posts back in the Matt Lawrence days, and those have since been deleted, but here, in 2026, the community posts are zilch. Take the other channels in the community. KLT Wild, KLT Geography, KLT Anatomy, and the Spanish channel, which have, between them, over 2 million subscribers. And yet, there is not a single community post. Not one. As far as I'm aware, there's no official Discord, there's no forum, there's no fan hub. Even the website is just a shop. It sells you things, sure, but it doesn't talk to you. And this feeling of neglect, it shows in the uploads too. These were the numbers when I last checked. I'm sure they'll have shifted slightly since, but the shape doesn't change. The Spanish channel sat silent for a full year, then a month ago randomly started posting again. And yet, not one of its last 6 videos has cracked 10,000 views. KLT Geography went quiet for 6 months before resuming regular uploads. And yet still nothing breaks 20,000. As for KLT Anatomy, that looks the most abandoned of the lot. This channel actually had a genuine hit with a video on basic human organs, then didn't upload for 5 months, and the momentum just evaporated. Its latest, 3 days old, has 1,000 views, and they haven't even bothered to put a cover image on the channel. As for KLT Wild, well, that did at least manage the cover art. But it still went 7 months without posting, and its big recent upload, 2 weeks old, scraped just over 20,000. So this is the whole brand, not just one struggling channel. Across the board, Kids Learning Tube is broken. And normally, this is the point where fans save it themselves. Take Numberblocks, another kids channel with comments switched off by the same rules. Now, the official channel didn't lift a finger, but the fans built a wiki, they built a subreddit, they made their own gathering places because that's what people do when they love something and the front door's locked. That's the part that should have happened here, but didn't. KLT's new owners ran the thing down so thoroughly. No posts, no engagement, the creator gone, the soul drained out, that the fanbase never reached a critical mass to build its own home. There was nothing left to rally around. So the people who grew up on it were left holding the funeral in scattered corners. On petitions, on fan channels, on a thread on r/Gen Alpha titled "With Admiral Bluntness." Here's a YouTube channel that's officially dead. What are your memories from it? The memories underneath weren't really about a YouTube channel at all. They were about being a kid. One reply was just raw volume. No, I loved KLT back in 2015, 2017. I grew up with it. I learned so much from it. I am eternally grateful to this channel for teaching me so much about geography, space, and everything. And the petition signers said a different thing in the same room. I love KLT to death. It was my childhood, and I built a lot of confidence of learning my subjects. I even watched videos I liked over and over for nostalgia and for memorization. This channel made me happy and safe. This channel rocks, and I hope it comes back. Another added. I love KLT. He helped my childhood learn and inspired me to be a YouTuber. Sign the petition. Let ZAVT know what they did. And this is the bit that the new owners never properly understood. Sometime in the last year, they finally gave back the fans what they've been asking for since 2022. They brought the old style back, the classic wobbly faces, the proper old topics. It was, in effect, an apology, and yet it didn't work. The Iron Exoplanet video, 18,000 views, is the restore classic style posted to 2.5 million subscribers. They may have fixed the art style, but the thing even more important than that was gone. Yes, I mean the trust. Because here's where the betrayal really comes in. Kids Learning Tube's fans were betrayed, absolutely, but not by Matt Lawrence. Matt got caught by COPPA, a rule he didn't write and couldn't fight, and he sold it to keep his family afloat. You can argue he never should have sold, but a man tried to pay his bills when the platform pulls the rug out from under him is not a villain. The betrayal came from the people he sold it to. They took a channel that generation of kids genuinely loved, stripped out the creator, gutted the community, ran the spin-offs into the ground, and, almost certainly, put a machine in the booth to sing in his place. They kept the brand, sure, but they threw away the soul. And the audience, who, remember, were children for a lot of this, but they're not stupid, felt it. You can see them feeling it in every view count we've looked at. Thousands may be still there, but millions have gone. So, is Kids Learning Tube dead? By the numbers? No. It still uploads, still earns, still ticks along, and it will probably outlive everyone in this story. Gently auto-playing Planet songs to children who weren't born when Matt Lawrence recorded the originals, generating $250,000 a year for a company in Burbank that has never said a single public word about any of it. Matt Lawrence himself, he started again from nothing. A new Americana band called Bridge Tomorrow, songs about recovery, mental health, and, in his own words, separation from a narcissist and taking back your power. Make of that what you will. He spent 10 years teaching kids that every country has a name and every planet a place in the order. The last lesson was one he was never meant to teach. That you can own a thing completely. The name, the catalogue, the voice, the art style, all of it. And still not have the one thing that ever made it matter. And a quick update, because I promised you at the beginning that these numbers would climb. That Iron Exoplanet video has indeed crept past 100,000 views since I started making this video. But the 2 uploads released since haven't even cracked 50,000, and not one of the last 6 videos has reached 250,000 views. On a channel of 2.5 million subscribers, that means fewer than 1 in 10 of them can be bothered with what KLT puts out now. The numbers may drift up, but the gap stays exactly where it was. So, you can buy Kids Learning Tube. Turns out, you can't bring it back. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting me and making videos like this. This was actually one of the longer and the harder videos to write, so I really appreciate the Snipe Army in supporting me in getting it done. If you too want to join the Snipe Army, hit that join button below. My name is SnipeSnap. Any other channels that you think have had a downfall, let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Snipe, snap, out.